Okay, Scotty mathematicians, we are back with solving ratio problems by creating tables. So we're going to go over these 4 examples of ratios and how we would solve them using a table rather than some of the other ways we have learned so far. So example 1, and you should have flaps for all these that we glued in class. If you happen to not be here, just use this to kind of help you see how we did this. Example 1. You are making lemonade for a party. It calls for 2 tablespoons of lemonade mix to 9 cups of water. Create a table to find out how much water you would need to add 8 tablespoons of lemonade mix. Okay, so we're trying to create a table, and what's nice about a table is we don't have to go in order. Going in order helps us see the pattern, but we don't have to go in order. We can put our first ratio in and then kind of count and see where we're going to end up going. So we will just go right into this example. So we're going to first label our table. So our first thing is we have 2 types of things. We have lemonade mix and we have water. Oh, I should have done my water blue. Oh well. Okay, so we have lemonade mix and water. Okay, so I'm going to put lemonade mix, and then here is water. Okay. And now we are going to use the ratio given to us to write down the first amount, and this was tablespoons of mix to cups of water, so I'm actually going to notate that as well. So this is tablespoon, and tablespoons shorthand TBSP for tablespoon, and the water was cups. So it was 9 cups of water and 2 tablespoons of lemonade mix to make this flavor of lemonade. Now we are trying to get to this 8, so we don't want to forget that. So I am actually going to kind of highlight that with a different color. We are trying to find out how much water we would need for 8 tablespoons of lemonade mix. Now this looks like I'm already labeling it, right? For my Q for cutie packs. This is kind of like my Q, and here's my data up here. Kind of set up for that. Now we're not going to always completely use cutie packs in our examples here, but that's kind of the most important thing I'm going to be looking for as of this point. So 2 tablespoons of mix, that's my first ratio I'm going to list here, and 9 cups of water. And for this table to work, we need it to be on the same row. If it's vertical like this, if it's horizontal, we want it right across from each other, regardless of how my table's set up. So 2 and water. My goal is to get to 8 tablespoons of this mix. So I could kind of skip count and go in order. We don't have to, but we're going to do that for this case just to kind of see where it ends up. So if I'm every 2 tablespoons of mix, that means I'm going to skip count by 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I'm going up by 2s, right? Each section of this, I'm going up by 2s. Okay. And then this, again, up by 2, up by 2, up by 2, up by 2. In this case. Okay. What's nice about a table is you don't have to do this. I'm going to show it for this first one, but I can actually skip right to what I need. And then I'm going to skip count here as well. So if I have 4 tablespoons of mix, I'm doubling it here. So I need to double it here. Okay. And so from here to here, I'm going to double it by adding 9. Okay. So I'm going to add 9, add 9, add 9. So 9, 18, 27, 36, and 45. Okay, so I'm going up at the same increment every time for this table. Okay, now I'm looking at, I really needed that 8 tablespoons of mix. You should see the answer in here already. So here's my 8 tablespoon of mix. How many cups of water did I need? I need 36 cups of water if I have 8 tablespoons of mix. And I'm just going to make sure I'm answering this in a sentence. So how much water would you need? I think that got cut up to add to 8 tablespoons of lemonade mix. Okay. So I would need 36 cups of water. Now, if I was being very thorough, I would then say 4 8 tablespoons of lemonade mix, but we don't have that much room. I at least got my sentence here. This is my sentence. Here's my, in my cutie packs, right? Here's my plan was to make a table. My answer was completing the table and finding it. Okay. My check, we're going to kind of just check, does it make sense at this point? For if I have 2 makes 9, I know my 8 should make something more in value. And here's my sentence answer. Okay, so a little bit of cutie packs in there, well, just a little bit. Example 2, for every 3 boys in band, there are 5 girls. Complete the missing numbers in the table. So I am going to kind of circle again, 3 boys in band, there's 5 girls. Notice I'm just using 2 different colors here, so whatever 2 colors you use, plus I had a highlighter. Here it's complete the missing numbers in the table. It's kind of my task. It's not really a question, it's more of our task for this problem. And if you notice, we have a table. We have boys, okay? We have our boys here, which I was using this kind of orangey color, girls with this like blue color. Okay, and we're gonna complete it. So 3 boys, does that, that's actually right here, right? 3 boys. How many girls is for those 3 boys in this band? And there's 5 girls. So that's my initial table here. Now we're going to complete the missing numbers. Again, they're actually being very nice to you, so just kind of skip counting. Here we were adding. You can also look at a table. We're adding the same thing every time. Okay. When I look at this table, I can also think about multiplying. So that's another way we can look at it. So 5, to get from 5 to this 10, we are doubling it. We're adding 5, but I can also say that this is timesing by 2. So to make that work here, I need to multiply the same number here, which is doubling it, and I'm going to times by 2 here to get this answer. Again, they're being very nice to you. 3 times 2 is 6. Again, we're just doubling from here to here. Or in this case, we're adding 5 every time. We don't really know, though, for sure, so we can actually, we might have a different number here to make something else. So again, we're being open to see what's going on here. From here to here, from 10 to 15, we are adding 5, but I want you to also see that multiplying thing. We are tripling this 5. So from here to here, we are tripling that number. So times 3 is another way to think of tripling. So from that 5 to this 15, I tripled. I timesed it by 3. Okay, I'm not looking, at this point, I'm not looking from the 10 to the 15 like I did with this table. So there's 2 ways, again, of looking at it. So from this 3 down to this empty space, I have to do the same thing what I did to this 5. So from here to here, I also need to triple it, or times 3, which gives me this 9. Okay, my arrow's a little crooked, but you get the point. From here to here, I'm tripling it. Now to get to this 12, I'm not using this 5 anymore. It's in this 3 column. So I'm going to say, what did I do to this 3 to get this 12? Okay, so from 3 to this 12, what did I do here? And I'm going to kind of draw my arrow on this side just because I don't have space over here. I'm kind of running out of space. So what did I multiply? I multiplied this by 4. So to get to this spot, I need to multiply this 5 on top, because that's the row I'm in, times 4 as well, which 5 times 4 is 20. If you need your times table chart, use it, but your goal is to kind of know this multiplication. And they left us with a blank. So it does say complete the missing numbers in the table. We're left with a blank, so we could kind of follow this pattern if we wanted. What's nice about tables is you don't have to follow a pattern. I can go right to a different number as long as what I do with this side, I have to do to this side. And I can use any number in this table as long as I'm doing my math correctly. I can actually start at this 12 and 20 if I wanted and double that, like from here to here. So I'm actually going to do that for this case. I could do something with the 10, the 15. 10's maybe an easier number. But just to show you that this works, I can also double this. So times 2, I get this 40. Now here I can't now change it and say, oh, let me triple this side. I have to also double. So from the same level, which is the same row, I'm going to also double this 12 to get that 24. Okay, so this last one, since they didn't give me a number, I just kind of went with whatever I wanted to do. I could have also just followed the pattern, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 5, 10, 15, 20. What would be next, right? 25. So I didn't choose that because a table, I can kind of jump around if I wanted, which is nice about tables, okay? We have 2 more examples to go. I try to keep these videos about 10 minutes or so, so we will work on example 3 and 4 on a different video. You have example 1 and 2 to work on, okay? And 3 or 4 we will work on next, whether in class or a different video, okay? Let's back up here. I will see you tomorrow, Scotties, if this is not a weekend. I will see you tomorrow, and we will keep working on those ratios. Have a great night, Scotties.